It's that time of year when folks are cleaning out closets, cleaning out drawers. Springtime means cleaning time, Abe. But if you are listening to and are watching this podcast, ask yourself, when was the last time you cleaned out your financial portfolio? That's what I want to talk to you about today, Mr. Financial Advisor. Yes, because for so many people, be honest, at the desk at Abish Financial Services, how often do you run into somebody who is, because people are busy, they have been working and they do the best that they can, just saving and stockpiling away. They come to you. Have they ever done a clean out?
Yes, but sometimes once a year, sometimes once every few years, especially when you're smack in the middle of your working career.
That's what I mean.
40, 50.
For somebody who's coming to you has never, he's like, okay, I'm here. I'm 5 years out from retirement. I want to get ready. What do I do? Where do I begin?
Yeah, maybe once a year for a lot of people. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes
that sounds better to me. That sounds optimistic to me.
Sometimes years can go by because people are just busy. They're just busy, and they're busy working and getting promoted and working hard and traveling, commuting.
Families and all the things that are involved.
And then they wake up at 60.
Here you
62,
are.
65. Oh,
you've
arrived. Probably get all this stuff together, and I've been working for 30 to 40 years. Can this 30 to 40 years pay off? Can I retire?
That's where you come into play
let me get it
to
all
help us
together.
figure it out. Yes, that's where you come into play. Abe Abish, you and your team at Abish Financial Services, of course, here to help you in that process. You can begin the conversation about your own spring cleaning of your finances. Find us at theretirementkey.com, or we also have links posted in the show notes. You can just click there. You and I were joking about this one study talking about, well, I was just the perspective of stuff and how much we're surrounded by stuff in our everyday life, just the amount of stuff that's coming into our houses and into our desks and into our lives every single day, just stuff everywhere. Just this one study was talking about how many keys do you have on your key ring? And do you even know what all of them go to? Because this one poll found the average person has 9 keys and no idea what 3 of them are for. And I was saying to you, this happens, the keys that are they get thrown in the junk drawer because you're afraid to throw them out.
Yeah.
Because and also, you ever find the little tiny screws lying around?
Yeah.
You're like,
why did I even save these? I don't even remember what they're for.
I panic though. I'm like, what did you fall out of? The screws. I'm like, oh no.
Yep.
Something's going to come crashing down. So they all go into the junk drawer that we have in the kitchen. Every single person has a kitchen with the junk drawer.
Oh,
You've got little screws and keys.
Little stapler, some rubber bands. Yeah. One of these little gadget tools with a little mini screwdriver thing in it. Yeah.
We're all
a few
guilty.
random paper clips. And then there's that other junk drawer where when the markets are up, you're taking a peek at those statements. When they're down, you're putting that envelope over on another desk.
Hiding away.
That pile is getting bigger.
Yeah.
And you're not looking at them when the markets are down.
Let's talk about forget about the keys and the little tiny screws for a minute. Let's talk about because that's not going to hurt you in the long run, really, if that sits in a drawer forever. Let's talk about what can impact you in your life by avoiding the financial clean out that, in your working years, you work, you save, you buy stocks, great. But in your retirement, everything needs to be sorted through before retirement. As you're getting ready for retirement, it's time to take a look at what's going on, sort things out, clean things out, Abe. So let's talk about a second opinion process. That's something else we always talk about. Come in to Abish Financial, have a full review, a second opinion on your retirement savings and investments.
Sure.
In these conversations, is it a pretty regular thing for you to ask somebody, tell me about this ETF, this stock, this annuity, and they kind of look at you and they go, I don't know. I just have it.
Absolutely. They'll say, that's what my advisor put me into, or if they don't have an advisor, that's what my cousin or uncle is investing in. That's what my coworker at work is investing in. He or she's done really well, and I decided to do the same thing. And sometimes people have done really well, especially lately. The last 5 or 10 years, where the market's just being on fire, being on a tear. But then when the markets start to pull around and correct, people start to wonder, hey, should I still continue to stay in the positions and accounts that I was in the last 5 or 10 years, or should I be considering a change?
Okay, so then for a person who is considering a change, or just the person who doesn't know what they should be considering, because I think that's probably the more common case. It's like, Abe, that's why I'm here. I don't know what I need to be thinking about, what I need to be looking for, what I need to consider. How do you help folks in a second opinion process go through and uncover things and eliminate unnecessary or out of date investments in their portfolio?
Yep. First off, Heather, you want to get all of your financial information in one place.
Okay.
So we have a retirement kit that would help a prospective client gather all that information. You think about, well, what do you own financially? You've got bank accounts, you've got insurance policies, you've got investment accounts, 401ks, IRAs, you've got assets, cars, homes, you have debt, maybe not. You have income, what's your wage, what's your future pension going to be? If you're going to have a pension, what's your Social Security going to be if you have that? And you want to start thinking about gathering all that information together, putting it in one place if you haven't already. And so some of the things I just mentioned, I mean, your investments are a big part of that. Your 401ks, TSPs, IRAs, brokerage accounts, while they're technically separate accounts, they're all pieces to one big puzzle. Let's say that your IRA is invested in a way that perfectly aligns with your goals, but your 401k is a jumbled mess. How would we know that if that hasn't been looked at under the hood? If your advisor hasn't given you that analysis lately, or if you're not working with an advisor, how would you know? How would you don't have access to the subscriptions and the Morningstar platforms and everything that we do to run all of those positions and holdings through to find out what you really have. That could be a missed opportunity. You could have a lot of inefficiency. You could have a lot of overlap. Husband might have one 401k over here. Wife might have hers over here. You might both own Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, the 2050 fund, whatever.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of overlap, and you could be duplicating efforts instead of creating a very efficient portfolio.
Okay.
There are also certain strategies like asset allocation, diversification that can boost returns, obviously, and can only be implemented when you're looking at the entire portfolio. So if you're trying to piecemeal accounts and say, well, let's just look at this 401k because it's got $1 million in it, and this account over here only has $100,000 in it.
Right.
No. Think about the entire retirement plan as a whole. All accounts, positions, holdings should be going cohesively together down the road. So giving your advisor, if you are working with somebody or if you're not, a full view of all of your investments so you can make recommendations is by far the best way to ensure that you're on the right track. And a financial advisor obviously can provide advice, not just on the investments, but on the insurance policies and coverage you should have. A really good phase 2 fiduciary advisor, as we are, should also be looking at tax planning, estate planning, the insurance planning. Investments are just one piece of a comprehensive plan, right? There's usually 6 to 7 pieces: the investments, insurances, taxes, estate, income, and others. So hopefully that's helpful. There's a lot of things to consider and a lot of things to really pull together. And you want to be making decisions and getting advice and recommendations on the entire plan, not just on one or a few accounts. If you're watching right now and you're married and you have one strategy and your spouse has another, again, that's probably not going to be the most efficient thing. And with that said and in mind, ideally, in a perfect world, and this happens more than not, you want to bring both spouses together and both plan together. You're looking at the plan as a whole. Obviously, the entire plan is going to affect and impact each other. If one passes away, one gets sick or disabled, things like that. So hopefully those are some good landmarks and some good items to really consider when you're trying to pull all of this together.
Yeah. Speak to the idea of what differentiates you, and from a couple different perspectives. One is an independent financial advisor, an advisory firm that you are at Abish Financial, and the difference when it comes to retirement perspective, retirement planning versus one of the big banks, but also being a phase 2, as you call it, financial planner, and the difference of the conversations that you have versus, because I imagine there are people that are listening and are watching this podcast and they have a financial advisor, and maybe they'll go to that financial advisor and say, I want to talk about tax planning for retirement. I want to talk about Social Security strategies. I want to talk about a Medicare plan and a legacy plan. And their financial advisor is going to say, well, that's not what we do here.
That's right.
Why is it that you do, Abe, you're a financial advisor, but you do these things? What's the difference?
Because most financial advisors, Heather, and the majority of the industry, over 90%, it's our understanding that over 90% of the industry are what we call phase 1 firms, phase 1 retirement planning or financial planning firms. They're usually working with people 30, 40, 50. They're in their working career. They're helping Americans to get to retirement. We call it the retirement mountain, right? They're helping Americans to get to the top of their retirement mountain. They're working hard. They're saving a lot. They're helping them save and invest to get to that point where they reach that $3 million mark or that $1 million or $5 million mark, whatever their goal is. That's fantastic. Then our clients come to us at that age, 55, 58, 60, 62, 65, 70. They're at the top of their own retirement mountain. They've either done it on their own or have worked with a phase one advisor. They start asking their phase one advisor or themselves, well, I'm thinking about retiring now. I want to retire. I was either forced to retire or want to retire on my own terms. When should I take Social Security? How do I lower taxes on this mountain of wealth that I just accumulated, where I've probably socked away most of it into the pre-tax bucket, because that's what I was told to do. When do I take Social Security? When do I take that pension? Do I take the single life or the joint life pension? Do I take a lump sum option? How do I lower and mitigate taxes on my wealth? Do I have the right insurances in place so that should something happen, like a healthcare event, that myself, my wife, husband, partner, that we're covered? How do I create income from the portfolio? Naturally, our wages are going to stop. All of these things and many, many more, Heather, a phase one firm is not really set out to help people plan for. They're there to help people plan for their investments, to diversify, to get them allocated, to be invested the way the client wants to invest those funds, which is important. But the investments are, again, one of maybe 7 to 8 pieces in a comprehensive plan. So while the phase one advisory firm is focused on investment management almost solely, our clients, a lot of them with phase one firms, will come over to us. They're asking their phase one advisor about all of these things. The phase one advisor is usually saying, again, like you said, we don't do that here. Or they're giving them this glazed over look, like, just take Social Security at 70. Don't worry about taxes. Just take 4% out of your investments. Don't worry about long-term care. Do something else. You can self-insure. Go here, go here, go here. For this strategy, go over here for long-term care. Go over here for Medicaid or Medicare. Go over here for your estate plan. And what we found as a firm a long time ago is that most people want everything done under one roof. Most people want one-stop shop, like, for all the planning. And so while we don't do everything, while we don't help clients with our tax returns or putting the actual estate plan together, we do a lot of comprehensive planning, much more than the average phase one firm. So that's a big way that we're different in our planning approach and strategy. Second, we're a family firm. And so we have about 24 people on the team right now, about 1,200 clients. Shelly and myself, we run the firm, husband and wife kind of team. Family atmosphere of love and warmth is one of our core values. When you kind of compare us to some of the big national firms, a big reason why a lot of people leave those big box firms is because they're so corporate, tons of turnover. There's not really great relationships there with a lot of the advisors, a lot of turnover, advisors hopping from firm to firm. Oftentimes you're thrown on a super junior advisor who may not have a ton of experience. There's not really a lot of relationship there. Much more of a reactive approach than proactive to planning. Might get a phone call or two a year. That's the opposite here. 4 meetings per year minimum.
And I was going to say, a little bit ironically, even though you are a local, independent, financially, a local family-owned business with offices in Ashburn, it's a bit ironic that people come to an independent financial advisor because you actually get more options, right? Because you can shop all of the different options. You go out there and you look for all of the different opportunities. You're not committed to one business, one investment strategy, one insurance strategy.
Being independent is really important, Heather. There's nobody on top of us. There's no parent firm or company driving product, driving strategy that has an influence on what myself and what our advisory team can recommend. We call the shots. We can shop the entire market around. We can shop the entire Charles Schwab platform around. We can shop the entire insurance market around. We can shop the entire bank market around for bank products, insurance products, and anything offered on the Schwab platform. That gives us tremendous option, tremendous flexibility when putting together a phase 2 retirement plan. Those are some of the key differences. Those are some of the main items that you want to look for, be looking out for as you're putting together, starting to pull together all your information to streamline, consolidate as you're considering working with a phase 2 planner.
What was the package that you have that you say
we call it a retirement kit.
The retirement kit. All right. So, and if somebody goes to the website, theretirementkey.com, and clicks on the contact tab there, you can click contact, and there's a little form fill there you can send to ask for that kit.
I believe so. If there's not, you could just reach out to us.
Just shoot a message.
If you've watched this podcast or listened, just reach out and request the retirement kit that we've talked about.
All right. Yeah. Got links posted in the show notes for you, for your convenience. You can just click there to head to our website, which is, again, theretirementkey.com. Let's get to work helping you spring clean your finances.
Let's do it.